Hi everyone and welcome to How to Win the Dating Game. I'm Trudy Gilbert, known as Australia's Millionaire Matchmaker and founder of Elite Introductions. And today's episode is about how to meet anyone, anywhere, and delete the apps forever.
Yay, get rid of the apps.
Oh my God, we are big supporters of app deletion. Okay, so look, many people feel that they're trapped in the dating app culture.
We talked about that last episode.
Yes, we did. And for those of you that have just joined us, I am joined by Andy, who works in the Elite team and is also my partner. Many people feel that they're trapped in the dating app culture, that they feel that there is no viable alternative. And last episode, we did indeed discuss why the dating app culture is ruining your love life. And we discussed how it's just not in line with the intention of having a relationship, that there's too much hookup culture, there's too many lies, too much deception, no one's accountable for their behavior. So if that's the case, how do you meet eligible single people? What can we do to get off the apps? Well, I'm here to tell you how to meet anyone, anywhere. And that's what we're going to get right into right now.
Let's do it.
Okay. So, look, at the moment we're in a COVID lockdown world. So let's just pretend that society and life is back to normal, that we can all mingle freely. And by the time you're listening to this, we feel pretty confident that that's where we'll be at. We'll be at this new COVID normal where we'll still be able to socialise and mingle.
Yeah.
Albeit limited.
Australia's a little bit behind at the moment, but I just had a friend send me some pictures of Times Square today, and it's packed full of people. So
wow, that's reassuring.
So I think we're getting there. We're getting there. If New York, which is probably one of the hardest hit cities, is back on track, then hopefully we'll. That's a good sign that that's where we're heading on the other side of vaccinations and stuff. So let's pretend that we are not back to normal, because I'm not sure if that will ever happen, but at least our new sort of COVID normal where we're functioning socially with some normality.
Mm-hmm.
Yep? Okay.
All right, let's do that. So we're going to talk about a few different scenarios here. We'll get through the kind of obvious and basic ones, which we call a primary hotspot. Pardon the pun, because we are still using a COVID term. And this is where, this is a place where there are single people seeking for a connection on some level. Now, that's places like bars or nightclubs, singles events, singles cruises.
The traditional places that you would expect, the places that were the hot spots for it, before there were dating apps.
That's right. The go-to, the classics, that still have a little bit of a hookup culture attached to them, because you're all there for the same purpose, but, is that really the same purpose? Some people are there for a one-night stand, others are looking for something more.
Yeah.
But I guess my best advice for you in those environments is just be clear in the early stages of what you're looking for. If you are looking for something more long-term, well, play a different strategy.
Yeah. How would you say it? Because you're not going to say, I'm looking for a serious relationship, just when someone asks you, offers to buy you a drink. But you could say something like, once you click and it looks like if their intention is something short term, you can say something like, I'm keeping my eye out for something special, or some sort of euphemism, I suppose.
You can. And look, a lot of women forget, and I remind my clients that they're in the driver's seat in a relationship. They're in control. They can say things like, let's just slow it down a bit, or they can control the pace at which the relationship progresses. So if a guy is super keen, which is great, because, that's always reassuring and a nice space to be in, good for the ego. But you can control that pace and just, that's what I would say.
I think it's pretty clear that guys are kind of looking for two different things. So what they seek when they're out looking for, when they're on the prowl per se, is different criteria than when they see somebody who's potential for relationship. So
who's worth bringing home to mum.
Yeah, I think women should keep that in mind. I mean, like, I'm not saying, don't have sex on the first date. I don't want to sound prudish, but I think that there might be a pressure to push back against this new hookup culture a little bit. And because it's become so acceptable, it's almost swung back the other way too much. and I think it's completely okay if you're a woman and that's what you want to do. But I think that if you want to shift this dynamic, you probably need to push back against that a little bit. And I think the right man is going to respond well to that.
I agree. I think that you've got every right to say no. That goes against my values. I'm looking for something that's more long term, or just play it smart.
Mm-hmm. Or say something euphemistic like, I'm just looking to meet someone, or I'm looking for someone special. I'm happy to, to get to know you, but let's take it slow, or whatever. Just there's plenty of ways you can say it without it being too much of a grand statement.
Yeah, I agree. The next point that we want to really mention is that there are also what we call secondary warm spots.
Yeah, as opposed to hot spots.
Exactly. So this is where you might find people socializing and connecting with a variety of status and attention and intentions.
Right.
It's a place where you might meet someone directly, or you may build a network of people to connect with.
So they're not there to pick up. But it's a social space.
Correct. Something like a sports club, like a tennis club or a golf club, or any kind of sporting club, really, sailing, running. I mean, there's all sorts of activities that you can do where you will be with like-minded people who have the same values, who have similar interests. And, that's always been a classic source of finding a like-minded partner.
Should you consider the demographics of the sport as well?
Oh, 100%. I mean, if you're, 40 and
you're corporate, then
you should go to and join a golf club.
Yeah.
If you're 25 and you're super active, then, join a rock climbing group.
Yeah.
Do something that fits, where you're at, and think about the type of people that you want to meet. Mm-hmm. It's a really, it's a 101 tip, right? But it's tried and tested. Everybody knows that by doing something that you love, you'll be meeting other people that have similar interests and values, that you'll be more receptive to receiving an approach from someone, because you're happy and you're in a space that you enjoy.
And it's easier too, because the approach can be about what you're sharing together. It doesn't have to be, hey, you want to go out for a drink, or
it doesn't have to be
come
sleazy.
On so quickly. You've got plenty of time to just, grow with somebody and connect with them and see if you're really interested, and then you can ask them at the end of the day or something like that when you've got loads of time.
That's right. Yeah. The best way for you to start a genuine connection with someone is by having a shared interest. Mm-hmm. Or even girls approaching a guy if they need help in something. Mm-hmm. A guy can never resist a damsel in distress.
The dropping of the handkerchief.
That's right. Right. Think of the advantages. You already have similar interests and values. Mm-hmm. You can see what they look like. So no misleading photos that are outdated. Mm-hmm. No one's fibbing about their age, or their height, for example. Mm-hmm. I know that's a bit cheeky, but I have heard some stories of people really fibbing about their height.
And I'm really 5'6".
Yeah, and where are you going with that? Do you think that no one's going to notice? That's just ridiculous. There's a lot of advantages of meeting someone through a shared interest.
But also, when you meet them in the flesh, you realise that attraction comes from so many different things.
100%.
It's not just how someone looks, but how they look in their environment, how they move, how they talk.
Yeah, but it's also how their intellect, their humour, their values, their their body language. Are they confident? Are they sexy? Is there a bit of mystery that's happening between the two of you?
Everybody has stories of somebody that they fell for that looks nothing like what they would consider their type.
Absolutely.
I have those stories, and I know you have those stories. We're not actually experts at what we think we're attracted to. We don't really know until we're not as much of experts at choosing someone and finding someone attractive.
Oh no, we're terrible judges. We're making a decision from a two-dimensional image. We have no information about how that person makes us feel, how they look at us, what they say, how they say it. Mm-hmm. There are so many levels that attraction is built on.
It's just crazy to be making those decisions from a few texts and some photograph.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. All right. So we've looked at two of the very basic, common avenues to meet people. Mm-hmm. I've got a list here that I want to share with you that some are quite practical and some you may not have thought of.
Mm-hmm.
So how about we go through those? All right, first one. Friends and family. Well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Let your community know.
You know what? We're not hooking up with our friends and family.
No, I didn't say that. I haven't finished my point yet.
Okay, sorry.
You love cutting me off.
I just was trying to work out what your point was.
No, we're not promoting incest or,
okay,
cheating on...
So what are you talking about? You're talking about the old 1 degree of separation process.
Yes, I'm saying that, let your community know your intentions to find a life partner. Mm-hmm. People love to play matchmaker. I mean, hello.
Yeah. Do you think that they should do that as well with their social groups and stuff like that?
Oh, 100%. Put it out there. Ask your friends, hey, do you happen to know anyone you think I might be suitable or compatible with? Or, maybe arrange a party or, a dinner party or a get-together where everybody brings a friend that isn't part of your social group so that you can extend and try and get to know some new people.
Or if nothing else, declare your status. Let people know that you're single.
Yeah. You'd be surprised at how just making that declaration to the universe can actually be quite fruitful and powerful.
Cool. All right. So where else can people meet someone?
All right. Look, I think this one is a pretty obvious point, but I'm going to mention it anyway. And it's a dog park.
Well, guys know that the puppy thing works. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's like the guy having the baby.
That makes
the draw
adorable.
card for the women. Well, women,
I think guys can get a dog.
Guys can get a dog.
Yeah. The
Anyone.
whole puppy thing is definitely I know guys that deliberately have gotten dogs for that exact purpose.
Seriously?
Yes.
All right, so get a pet of any sort, okay? Preferably a dog.
Well, a dog's good because you can go to parks and interact with people, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yes. Well, yes, it's a good excuse for a connection to establish. So get a dog or borrow one. Even better, help out a friend. Help out a friend who's busy at work and take their dog for a walk.
Yeah, if you're like, I can't get a dog, I work a 50-hour week.
Yeah.
I don't have time for a dog. Just borrow your best mate's dog and go to the park.
That's it.
I'll take Rover for a walk. And then
but
boom.
make sure you know the dog's name, okay? Because that's going to be a problem if they run away and you're not calling the right dog's name. So, I mean, seriously, how easy is it to get into a conversation with someone at the dog park?
Yeah. It's just a talking point, right?
It's a very easy talking point, and it just flows effortlessly. Now, I'm not saying that you should start picking everyone up at the dog park, okay? Not everyone with a dog is single, okay?
It's just about a headspace. You're talking about the headspace, being open and placing yourself in spaces where you can connect with people.
Yeah, I'm talking about using an opportunity that puts you in a social environment where you can easily speak to other people, create conversation. It's very genuine and it's easy, it's free flowing. It helps you to foster a connection. And look, connection in life it doesn't have to always be about love. It could be about friendship. You might meet someone at the dog park that you find you have a great connection with, that you then become friends, and then you grow to learn about their other friends, get introduced to their social circle, and you might meet someone that way.
Like we went to my friend Dale's place for the barbecue.
Yeah.
And his wife had friends over. Remember, they came to the barbecue.
That's right.
And they were like 4 or 5 people that she knew from the cafe.
Yeah.
That they used to all hang out at.
Yeah.
So she built like a social network completely apart from all the other parts of their life.
Yeah, that's right. Very easy to do. But the point is that you're out there connecting. You are, meeting with people, you're engaging, you're being open, you're putting yourself out there, and you never know what can happen from that kind of interaction.
Moving away from a mentality of
head down and staring at your phone.
Mm-hmm. Away from scarcity too, like thinking, there's no one out there. When you keep meeting people, it changes your headspace, and then you're open to it. If you're thinking about scarcity or that the only way is through apps, then you're going to feel trapped.
That's right.
And it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy as well.
That's right. That's very good advice.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, next one. Now, this happened to a close friend of mine. And it kind of goes against some age-old advice that we were given as children, which is don't talk to strangers. And this next tip is the bus stop.
The bus stop.
The bus stop is a great opportunity for interaction.
Okay, so who's catching the bus? People going to work, I suppose.
Yeah, it's before work. Look, it could be in that that 8 to 10 time slot in the morning where yes, a lot of adults are waiting at the bus to go into the city. Now, this is obviously this story occurred in a pre-COVID world. So my friend was standing at the bus stop, had on a new shirt, and he was approached by a woman who happened to compliment him on the colour of shirt because it was a lovely shade of pink.
Oh, okay.
And so she commented and said, "Look, I really like your shirt." And my friend is quite open.
He's a chatterbox.
He's a chatterbox. He loves having a chat. And before you knew it, they had chatted the whole way from Bondi into the city. So it was a good 30-minute chat. And at the end of that chat, she gave him her number.
Right. Yeah.
And it just happened organically. She made one little comment, and the conversation flowed from there.
It was enough to spark something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is really, really cute. So my advice is, if you see someone that you like, don't be afraid to say something. Don't be afraid to give them a compliment or just say hi. The more you do it, the more you'll feel comfortable and the awkwardness will go away. So, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe if it happens to you too, be responsive. Don't assume that everybody's a weirdo. Most people are pretty nice.
Yeah, that's right.
Vast majority of people are just nice, good people.
Yep, I agree. All right, our next one. Now, I like this tip because I think it's super practical and we could all start doing it now.
Okay.
Do more things alone.
Oh, you mean like without your friends and
stuff? Like when you're alone, you'll find that more people will be more likely to approach you because it's not intimidating. When you're with your friends, you're with a group, it's quite hard to break that inner circle and approach and make an approach.
When I'm trying to think about what you're saying now, I don't think I would ever approach, like if I liked a girl and she had with 3 or 4 friends, I don't think I would have the courage to say something.
Yeah.
In that scenario, like you talk about, like the bus stop or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But if she was by herself,
that's right.
I might definitely feel that would be easier.
Yeah, sure. It's very confronting to approach someone who's in a group. But if you're alone, then it's a much more conducive environment to encourage an interaction. So my advice is do things like, again, pre-COVID or post-COVID, travel alone is really good because it puts you in a position where you actually, need to interact with others. There could be a situation where you're in a hostel or you're traveling, you're in a restaurant and you need to share something, or you need advice, or you need guidance, or you need help. And so there's a real need there to interact with people. I have a great story about a client who immigrated from the States.
Okay.
And he came here, fabulous job opportunity. He got a beautiful house in Balmain on the water, but he didn't know anyone. So he went out to dinner, and obviously went by himself, and started chatting with the table next to him, who then told him about all these great places that he had to visit. They started ordering wine and cheese boards, and it's had a lovely evening together. And he's a really gregarious, fun person that you just can't help but want to engage with.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
he's pretty expressive.
He
and
is.
very
He's
socially
charming.
confident and charming.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
And he's got a great energy. And so he told me about this wonderful night that he had. And look, that was like a year and a half ago. He's still friends with those people.
Wow.
They still catch up every now and again and have a drink. And, that wouldn't have happened if he hadn't gone out or if he'd been with a friend, I understand that it might be confronting for some people to sit alone in a restaurant or a bar and just be in that space. But it's surprising how easy it is for you to receive an approach when you're in that environment.
Do you think that there is safety in numbers? I remember the story that you told me about your friend and meeting that guy that she liked at the casino and stuff like that. Like, she needed your help in that situation. And I think of one of my best mates and how I always felt like we had more fun when we went out together, because he's very super forward in the initial meeting. I'm more sort of a one-on-one sort of close chat kind of person, but not good at the icebreaker. He's like super good at the icebreaker, so that worked well for us.
Oh,
so
definitely.
do you think that like having a wingman or is
there's a time and a place for everything. You know, a wingman, a wingwoman is always useful, but you don't always have those opportunities. If you don't have that, then don't be afraid to go out alone and sit in a restaurant or a bar and put yourself in an environment where you're open for an approach. Don't rely on the apps. Go out there, and it does take courage. I get that. You know, it's not for everyone, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll be with doing it, and the better you'll get at it. You know, take a book with you for the first time. If you feel you need something to do, go out to dinner, take a book.
Not your phone.
No, not your phone.
Bury yourself in the phone.
No, take your book or a notepad. Do something that, you know, keeps you busy, but also shows that you might be open to being approached.
Yeah, I like that. And you're creating a space that's changing your headspace about the attachment to the apps as well. Right, when you see those kinds of opportunities, you might feel stronger about letting go of something that you may have habitually been attached to.
Yeah, well, I think it gives you a broader perspective that this is not the only avenue to meet people through, and that meeting people in person, in the flesh, is a far better way to assess whether you're going to be compatible or not.
Yeah, I like it.
You know, another place you could go to meet people is a bookstore. I know that sounds a little bit untraditional.
Or old school.
But look, I guess I'm just saying, just be open.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Last point is join a co-working space. Now, this
You mean like a, oh God, I was going to say hot spot again. God, we can't say that anymore. But you mean like a shared,
like a WeWork or you know,
shared workspace.
A shared workspace where there are other people who look. You might be a business owner yourself, or you might work for a company that allows you to work from home. And
well, that's definitely happening these days.
Oh my God, 100%. You know, that would be happy if you joined a co-working space as an alternative venue to work from if you couldn't work from home, for example, and you weren't able to go into the office. In a co-working environment, you'll meet a lot of like-minded people who probably share very similar routines to you, who are probably in a similar age demographic, who would also live in a similar locality to you.
Yeah, sometimes those workspaces, shared workspaces, might be closer to your neighbourhood as opposed to right in the middle of the city where your office might be.
It depends where you pick, because there are some that are obviously smack in the centre of town, and then others that are in the fringes and in popular suburbs. So you'll meet people that either live a very similar lifestyle to you or have a similar routine. You'll probably share similar values in terms of being ambitious and driven and, you know, enjoying your business. So there's a lot of basic criteria there that you'll share in common with one another.
You know, things like people with micro startups and stuff like that. It's really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff to chat with people.
Yeah, it's great. People love talking about other people's businesses, you know, and depending what stage your business is at, it's, you know, it's a lot of fun to talk about that.
We used to use that space in the city, you know, where we used to work out of. That was really fun. You know, there's lots of really cool people there. Yeah,
it was great. I love that. I miss that space.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, look, the reality is that single people are everywhere. They're at the supermarket, the coffee shop, the bus stop, the gym, the sailing club, the dog park. You know, you just have to be open to
shift your mindset
and know that the apps are not everything, and it's not your only avenue. And that, you know, look, if you actually, you know, really do need help and...
Yep, let's talk about the elephant in the room. One of the great ways to do it is with a matchmaker.
Well,
right?
That's right.
Hello.
Look, this was not the purpose of this episode. Obviously,
I think we should talk about it though, because it is an option. We should say, if it's something that you can afford and you're a busy person, then why wouldn't you outsource it?
Well, look, it's an opportunity that does, that is available for people who are in the right headspace and who want somebody else to take over this process for them, because there's a lot of advantages to having a matchmaker enrolled on your behalf. We do all the screening and profiling. We do all the matching. We do all the compatibility checking. And then we ring you and present you with someone who we think is a great fit.
So again, it's kind of this, not dissimilar to the whole meeting someone through a social space, because you're very quickly getting to meeting them in the flesh. A lot of the boxes have been ticked, and now you're meeting them in the flesh. So you really get to see what someone's really like. You just can't do that with the apps.
No, you can't. You absolutely can't. The apps are, again, a flawed system to meet someone through, because it's just a disingenuous mechanism. People aren't being assessed on the right qualities, whereas I'll ring a client and say, look, you've got so much in common. You've both lived in London, you're keen skiers, you've both got kids, you've got very similar personality traits, for what you're looking for. I think you'll really like each other. You're both really driven, and you've got shared values around family, all these things that really matter.
It's funny you say that, because very often it's not those things that you hang up and you say, I think that person would be really good for X, whoever it is. And I go, oh, why? And you go, I don't know. It's a feeling. I've just got a feeling,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. And like, whenever you say that, it's almost always a great match.
Yeah.
It's not all those things that we think it is. It's all about, we have to have aligned values and like the same things and come from the same background, or all those things. Very often it's just this thing that you get in your head and you decide.
I know.
It's very strange. It's like you've got this weird thing going on.
I know it is a bit weird. It's like I just get this overriding, voice.
Cupid
vibe, where I'll have spoken to a client and he or she will give me the brief, and I'll just go, oh my God, that person is perfect for blah blah. And I don't exactly know why. I mean, I do try and break it down so that I can kind of replicate the same process again, but it's just this instinct where my matching brain just goes, okay, well, for example, Nick has to meet Jessica without a doubt. That's the girl for him. Or Jennifer has to meet Andrew. I just feel that they're going to find each other attractive, interesting. There's going to be fireworks. They're going to appreciate where they're at in life. They've both got key. There's all these factors contribute to that decision. But there is something that's very instinctive that makes me pick that person above 50, 60, 80 other options.
Yeah. Well, having a matchmaker is great if you have the resources to outsource this process, because it enables you to get in front of people that have been screened, have a lot of the same values, and the kind of person that's going to be easier for you to have some element of success with. So that's all good. Let's talk about the negatives. Why wouldn't you use a matchmaker?
Well, I guess you wouldn't use a matchmaker if you felt that it was beyond your budget, because obviously, we are a luxury product, even though some of my clients like to call me an essential service. And I think that's great. I love that. Thank you, Mark, for terming that phrase. Yeah, so, if it's beyond your budget, I do understand that. And look, you have to make sure that if you're going to use a matchmaker, you have to be clear about what kind of client you want to meet. So you have to be clear about what demographic you're trying to access, and make sure that matchmaker has access to that group.
And that you're right for that group as well.
That's right.
Because we don't have like at Elite, everybody's sort of in that same sort of successful professional or executive or entrepreneur. They're educated, like they're in the same group. So it's not like a young kind of gold digger wouldn't work in that space. So she might like the same guys that our clients do, but we don't have anyone for her because
No.
our clients aren't looking for trophy wives. They're looking for
That's right.
partners.
That's right.
So
And
you've got
I
to
would,
make sure not only that they have the people that you want, but you are what
but
their
you
people want.
embody what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Because if I got the sense that someone wanted to join the agency that was joining for disingenuous reasons, I wouldn't allow them to. I would say to them, no, this isn't the right space for you. I'm sorry, you know.
It's actually surprising to me. I bet you people don't realise this, but you say no more often than you say yes.
Yeah, I know. I do. Well, no, I say no.
When you think about it, the communication of the whole thing is already very exclusive, right? So that would not scare away, but that would deter most people that aren't, 80% of the people that aren't right for it. But that even of that group, you do sort of you hang up and you just shake your head and you go, no, there's something not right. Or
I guess you're right, because I only kind of look at the Zoom stage, whereas as at that point, like the end point, like the end of the sales process, is
you've had like 2 calls with them before,
where I've already had like the sales calls, the inquiries, replied to the emails, whatever they are.
And you do a lot of listening in that stage, and just you're looking for a vibe, aren't you?
I am. I'm looking for something that's going to jump out at me and go, yeah, you're a great person. You're a great fit for the agency.
I remember that interview I read that you did, and you said, I'm their first date. I'm everybody's man or woman. I'm their first date, so they have to sort of get past me before.
That's right.
Yeah,
and if I'm not their fan, well then, and I'm a receptive audience. Like, I want them to do great. But if they're not going to do great and they're evasive, or they're cold, or they're guarded, or they're entitled, oh my god, I cannot stand entitled, then I just don't think they're the right fit for my beautiful, open-minded, adventurous, warm, engaging, trusting clients. So I'm very,
so what's
very
the message
guarded.
to our people that are considering a matchmaker? We're obviously going to do an episode all about this, but like, if it's one of the places outside of apps that you can go to, so what's the message that we give them?
Well, look, for me, I would say to you, if you're a business owner or a professional and you would like to save time and, hire a matchmaker to do all the work for you, then, I'm your girl. But, there are other ways that you can go about meeting people. It will just take more energy and investment from your part to put yourself in those places and to make that magic happen. But, you can do it.
It's about connecting with people in the flesh.
Yeah.
That's our message, really, isn't
That's right. Putting yourself in situations.
Move away from the 2-dimensional photograph swiping culture and
get rid of those
in front
apps.
of human beings.
Delete the apps, please, for your own sanity, your own emotional well-being. There are other ways for you to meet people rather than putting yourself in harm's way, people who are going to cause you emotional trauma. You don't need to do it. You can meet the old-fashioned way.
I love it. Well, I think that there's some pretty good options there in the how to meet anyone, anywhere. I think that's some good advice.
Well, thank you, Andy. Yeah. I'm glad that you you feel that way.
You're so clever, dear.
Oh, yes. Just another day at the office.
All right, so should we wrap up?
I think so. And look, stay tuned for our next week's episode, which we haven't decided on yet.
We haven't decided yet, but I think we should tell them to go to trudygilbert.com. That's Trudy with a Y.com. Check out whatever episodes are there. You should catch up. They should do the quiz. I think it's really great, that quiz that you've created. 5-minute
quiz on are you ready for your dream relationship?
Yeah, I love that. And also check out the online course. It's a great interactive online course that takes you all the way through the process of right from getting your head and your body and soul ready for relationship, all the way through to dating and all the skills and then relationship stuff. There's lots of great tools there, so check it out.
You can also check out our previous episodes and also send us an email if you have a suggestion or a request or a comment about anything that we've talked about. We would love to hear anything that you might want us to discuss in the future. Get in touch.
And
enjoy.
we'll bring the team. We'll bring the other crazies in.
Yes,
Jodie and Lisa.
yes. We're going to bring Jodie and Lisa in very soon. You'll meet the other two matchmakers in the team.
Great.
All right. Well, enjoy. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you next time.
Bye.